CD 3, the pharyngeal voice. In this CD, we will begin one of the approaches to building the mix or blend between head and chest voice. But the focus is not on building mix, but building color into the voice. This CD continues with the thought of building the voice part and parcel. In other words, unique muscle coordination for each color of the voice. The pharyngeal voice really begins to blend the head voice downward, adding more bottom resonance, and blending the chest voice upward, adding more top resonance, like this. Notice how the chest voice wasn't trapped in the mouth, and the head voice had added qualities. This is also known by most people as a brassy, whiny, or even nasal quality. The benefits of pharyngeal voice are so numerous. The pharyngeal voice helps connect or bridge the vocal registers. Because the resonators of mouth and head feel so far apart from each other, we need a resonator or a gear between head and chest voice, and the pharyngeal voice provides us with that very thing. It is the middle resonator between head and chest resonators. The pharyngeal voice is a vocal therapy. It relaxes and restores the voice through a more efficient chord closure. The pharyngeal voice builds more color and character. It makes the voice more interesting. The pharyngeal voice gives the illusion that you are pulling more weight than you really are because the combined resonances sound like you are actually using more vocal cord. The pharyngeal voice gives you extraordinary power through maximizing resonance chambers in the throat and head cavities. In other words, it allows you to finally utilize all the God-given space inside your head to create rich, epic sound. Although there are times when you will only employ some of the pharyngeal resonance. The pharyngeal voice thins out the vocal cords to make bridging from chest voice to head voice easier and less weighty feeling. It does this because the chest voice coordination is not allowed to resonate in its natural mouth resonator. The lower the resonator being used, the more weight is placed on the vocal cords. Another way of thinking about the pharyngeal resonator is to picture a trumpet inside your head. The great thing about a trumpet is the amount of ping the sound has. A friend of mine won the New York Metropolitan Opera auditions in the 70s. He had the privilege of singing dozens of operas with Pavarotti. I asked him 15 years ago if Pavarotti roared like a lion. He said, "No, he pings like a trumpet. And his voice is rather small." What? Pavarotti has a small voice? No. Yes. You see, sound quality travels more than sound volume. The whole idea of pharyngeal voice is to find how much sound you can get out of your head and then decide how much quality will be needed for whatever style you will be singing in. Pharyngeal voice exercise 1. The first exercise is NG, as in the word rung. This exercise sounds like this. This sound closes off the mouth as a resonator, but still engages the same coordination as chest voice. Because the chest voice is not allowed to resonate in the mouth as it naturally does, the amount of weight on the vocal cords suddenly eases up as the tone ascends up behind the soft palate. Remember that, typically speaking, the lower the resonance, the more weight or heft is felt on the vocal cord. As the tone ascends in the head, pressure eases off. This is why this exercise also acts as a vocal rehab exercise for the many rock singers I work with who typically sing too heavy. This exercise will begin to bridge the chest and head voice more naturally. If you don't already own Singing Success, our 12-CD systematic vocal training program, then you may be a little frustrated and experiencing breaks. Either secure a copy soon, or you may want to first try the following CD, which deals with edge muscle coordinations in order to connect the voices. This particular exercise is designed to isolate the pharyngeal coordination and all the musculature that is used in the pharyngeal mechanism. This exercise preps the cords to receive more weight without pulling up chest voice into head voice territory. Listen to our examples. First, the male demonstration.
Hear the brassy, trumpet-like tone. Hear the transition from chest to mixed voice. The change of vocal registers is nearly imperceivable. Hear how smooth and effortless the voice is. It seems to glide rather than climb. Way to go.
Now, the female demonstration. Hear the brassy trumpet-like tone. Notice the transition from chest to mixed voice. Excellent. Now it's your turn, starting with the gentleman.
Feel how effortless the chest voice feels. The resonance is shifted towards the pharyngeal instead of the chest voice's natural mouth resonance. So this eases up the pressure as you ascend the scale. Feel the tone as it climbs behind the soft palate toward the head cavity. Feel the whiny, brassy resonance in the face. Feel the cords thin out. Good job.
Now the ladies. Feel how effortless the chest voice feels. The resonance is shifted toward the pharyngeal instead of the chest voice's natural mouth resonance. So it eases up the pressure as you ascend the scale. Feel the tone as it climbs behind the soft palate toward the head cavity. Feel the whiny, brassy resonance in the face. Way way to go. Pharyngeal exercise 2. This next exercise is like the previous exercise, except it's performed on a double scale that starts on the NG sound and migrates to the hum sound. This exercise sounds like this. The purpose of the scale is to begin to allow more color to the pharyngeal sound by adding the mouth resonator. This exercise, because of the lower mouth resonator being added, will recruit more muscle fiber to gently warm up the voice into the mixed coordination. This brings us closer to a full mixed voice that can be used for singing. When doing this exercise, try to duplicate the NG or sound while doing the hum sound. Though this exercise produces a smooth connected sound, do not be concerned if there is a slight disconnect at first, like this. In time, this exercise will produce a more even transition through your bridges. Listen to the demonstration. First the male.
Notice how they hum. Is closer to a singing voice. It sounds like there are no bridges. Way to go.
Now the female. Notice how the NG and the hum sound are very similar. Yet the hum is closer to singing. Hear that connection. Sounds like there's no bridges. So smooth. Now it's your turn, starting with the men.
Feel the sound resonating in the back of the throat and the bridge of your nose. Now feel the sound against your lips. The end of your nose. And the roof of your mouth. If you feel a break, keep going.
Ladies, your turn. Feel the sound resonating in the back of the throat? And the bridge of your nose. Now feel the sound against your lips. The end of your nose. And the roof of your mouth. If you feel a break, keep going. If the sound is airy, you may need to skip forward to the nay-nay-nay exercise. Be sure to get a full breath. This exercise should feel completely effortless. Just let it slide. From note to note. Way to go, ladies. Pharyngeal exercise 3. Wide interval jumps on like a siren. This exercise sounds like this. This exercise can be done throughout the day and does not need a piano because it is not really a scale. Again, you are simply making sound. The bouncing action begins to release the muscle tension that too many singers experience when singing in the mix. Because of the speed of this exercise, the same explosive plyometric muscular principle used to train basketball players and sprinters is now used to build strength and agility in the voice. You should also take note that this is an excellent exercise for strengthening the cords for a smoother connection through the bridges. So, all that is needed to do this exercise is your voice. You should perform this exercise about 10 to 20 seconds at a time, anywhere from 5 times a day to 20 times a day. In other words, this should become your new annoying everyday habit. Pharyngeal exercise 4. This is the French ONS, the on. This exercise sounds like this. This exercise employs a deep pharyngeal sound on an O vowel and doubles your resonance capability. This is the first pharyngeal exercise with an open mouth. It is also the first pharyngeal exercise to sustain high notes with vibrato. You will notice in the demonstration and in your own voice that the vibrato increases resonance and releases. In this exercise, because we are using a French vowel rather than an English O sound, there is a slight nasality produced that implies you are singing with an N sound. However, the N is not made with the tongue, but the nasal lilt produced from the pharyngeal resonator, with the sound rather than sound. With this exercise, you will notice an almost effortless sense of power. This sound can be recognized in early Hank Williams recordings and in speech patterns in early black and white movies because the pharyngeal was able to carry the voice into microphones that had less capabilities than the microphones of today. This is why one of my favorite authors on vocal science, E. Herbert Chasery, says that the pharyngeal resonator is the forgotten resonator, and that most teachers completely ignore its usefulness in building the voice. Again, like pharyngeal exercise 1, 2, and 3, there is no breathy tone quality in this exercise. If up to this point you have noticed an airy tone, you should move to CD number 4, which develops the edge muscles of the vocal cords for a more precise chord closure. When performing this exercise, make sure you start the ah sound with a slight staccato, like this. Ah, not with an H sound like this. Ha. If you start with an H sound, you run the risk of blowing the vocal cords apart and losing your chord closure. Listen to the demonstration. First the male.
Hear how easily the tone ascends behind the soft palate. Notice how the vibrato seems to expand the voice. Again, the singer sounds very connected. Nice work.
Now the female. Hear how easily the tone ascends behind the soft palate. Notice the vibrato seems to expand the voice. Again, the singer sounds very connected. Very good. Now it's your turn, starting with the men.
Notice how this exercise frees up the vibrato. Your sustained note should feel light yet full sounding. You should feel a spreading out of tone. From the pharyngeal cavities in the back of your throat to the forward nasal plane. fanning out as a result of the employed pharyngeal resonator. Be sure to not expect a normal sound yet. This sound is still dominated by the pharyngeal resonator. Way to go.
Ladies, your turn. Notice this exercise frees up the vibrato. Your sustained note should feel light, yet full sounding. You should feel a spreading out of the tone from the pharyngeal cavities in the back of your throat to the forward nasal placement. So the sound travels in a V shape, fanning out as a result of the employed pharyngeal resonator. Be sure to not expect a normal sound yet. The sound is still dominated by the pharyngeal resonator. Great work. Pharyngeal exercise 5 is a staccato pharyngeal head monkey sounding. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. This exercise sounds like this.
Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah.
This exercise starts out in head voice on
Ooh, 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 ooh.
and should sound like a monkey using a strong staccato, not an owl with a H sound.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
This can also be thought of as the squeaking sound of a tennis shoe suddenly stopping on a hardwood basketball court, like this. Think less of singing and more of making sound. This will free up your mind to make a coordination you would otherwise find repulsive and embarrassing. You listen to my 2-year-old son demonstrate the monkey sound. The following takes place in the Manning Road Trip 2009 and is recorded on an iPhone.
to do meows.
He's not afraid of sounding stupid, therefore the coordination in his voice is very pure. This exercise builds massive explosiveness in your mix. It is somewhat difficult in the beginning, and sometimes sounds dull and falsetto-like, like this.
Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah.
This exercise closes the chords in the same way a cough does. Compare the cough with a normal staccato. The edges of the chords seem to touch differently. Because of this, there's less weight of chest voice. That is why some refer to this exercise as a head mix, because we are blending head and pharyngeal. The chest voice is not our concern in this exercise. If this exercise makes your voice feel tired, it is either because the exercise is working new coordinations or you are pushing too hard and not allowing the staccato to do the work. If you are concerned about doing this exercise correctly, we at Singing Success have an amazing staff of qualified coaches who can help you, even over the phone, to diagnose and correct bad habits that may be making this exercise difficult.
For me, this exercise gives me the feeling that I'm yelling chest voice, but without all the pulling up, because, in actuality, my chest voice isn't built to go very high. This exercise has allowed me to sing those Patti LaBelle notes. Though I wasn't always strong, the chords simply became comfortable in this foreign coordination. When that happened, they became efficient, and I was shocked at what was coming out of my mouth.
Listen to the demonstrations. Female. Notice no pulling up.
Ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah.
Like the singer's on top of the note.
Ooh, ah, 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 ah. Ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah.
Hear the clarity of sound.
Ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah.
Though some may experience airiness, because the reckless feeling of this exercise, eventually staccato strengthens chord closure. Notice, each staccato, the singer is allowed to get louder and louder. Effortless. The male demonstration?
Notice how you hear no pulling up. Rather, it sounds as if the singer is on top. Again, notice the clarity of sound. Though some may experience some airiness because of the reckless feeling, eventually, the staccato strengthens the chord closure.
Now it's your turn, starting with the ladies. Now, just because you're singing louder with more power doesn't mean you're singing heavy. This should feel light on the inside but powerful on the outside. Again, no strain. Don't try to be too perfect on this exercise. Just be reckless. Woo! Tiring, huh? Good job. Gentlemen, now it's your turn.
Just because you're singing louder doesn't mean heavier. This should feel light on the inside, but sound powerful on the outside. Again, you should not feel any strain. Don't try to be too perfect on this exercise. Great job.
Pharyngeal exercise 6. This next exercise sounds like this.
Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay.
This exercise is a very common exercise in the pop, R&B, musical theater world. It is usually thought of as a belt exercise because it allows a sound that is heavier than a classical sounding, legit head voice. This exercise appears very early in my Singing Success systematic vocal training program. Here, it is strategically placed after the easier pharyngeal exercises. This exercise is not meant to sound pretty. It is meant to give you the same strength and power as pulled up chest voice, but without all the strain and weight on the vocal cords. The N in this exercise acts like a hammer. The A sound is the nail. So the nay sound is like a safe pounding of depth into the vocal cords. This exercise is like the earlier sounding head voice exercise where a consonant is added to give you something to push off, like the swimmer using the wall to push off of. The nay, nay, nay sound should not be throaty or connertally sounding like this. Nay, 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 like Deadly Do-Right. You know that nay, nay, nay? This connertal sound gives us a kind of Kermit-y frog sound that is not made through the resonance of the pharyngeal walls, but rather the squeezing in or pinching of the sides of the throat. It is an artificial sound that is used by some country, R&B, and opera singers to produce a resonance or tone quality that would be more naturally produced in the pharynx. The country singer would often sing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," while the nay sound, done correctly, would produce a sound more natural like this. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." This is a pharyngeal mix. In opera, the throaty connertal sound would be like this. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." The correct sound, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." In R&B, the connertal sound would be like this.
A beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
The correct R&B sound would be like this.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
When performing this exercise, keep a whiny, bratty sound. Do not purposely tighten the throat, which produces a connertal-like sound. Instead, allow the N to do the work. It is the pressure of the tongue against the roof of the mouth that produces the pharyngeal sound and builds up a natural compression to close the cords. When doing this exercise, don't be too concerned about how light sounding.
Nay, nay.
or how heavy sounding the sound is. Simply let the voice have a mind of its own and do whatever is comfortable. Later in this program, we will deal more extensively with the light mix, hard mix, and balanced mix, and why you should use them. For a visual look on the nay exercise, please refer to the DVD. Now listen to the demonstration. First the male.
Hear how there's no throaty sound. The nay stays very pure. See how the speed keeps the singer from reaching. Notice how every note has the whiny pharyngeal sound. Also notice the sound isn't breathy. The nay keeps the singer from flipping into falsetto. Way to go.
Now the female. Here there's no throaty sound. The nay stays pure. The speed keeps the singer from reaching up. Notice how every note has the whiny pharyngeal sound. Sounds not breathy because the nay keeps the singer from flipping into falsetto. Awfully high. Wow, a high B flat. Now it's your turn, starting with the men.
You should be feeling this exercise in the end of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and the forehead. Be sure to keep your tongue and jaw very loose. Concentrate on a clear, whiny sound. No breathiness. Make sure your facial expressions match the sound. If your throat starts to tighten up, temporarily abandon this exercise and go back to the first couple pharyngeal exercises.
Ladies, your turn. You should be feeling this exercise in the end of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and the forehead. Be sure to keep your tongue and jaw very loose. Concentrate on a clear whiny sound. No breathiness. facial expressions match the sound. Remember, it's not supposed to sound pretty. If your throat starts to tighten up, temporarily abandon this exercise and go back to the first couple pharyngeal exercises. Nice work so far. Keep on going if you can. Just be whiny, not pretty. All right, way to go. Pharyngeal exercise 7. This exercise sounds like this. This exercise is like the more popular nay exercise, except that it is even more whiny because the E is a narrow vowel. This exercise has the ability to thin out the vocal cords, which removes the weight from the voice as you pass through the transition from chest to mix. Because the E vowel sound is usually oversqueezed, it is a very difficult sound for most singers to sing in their upper ranges without pulling up chest voice and distorting the vowel like this. Nee, 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 nee. Nee becomes nay. The nee sound spreads out towards nay, but that is totally unnecessary. The only slight modification that should be made in this exercise is from nee on the bottom note to ni on the top note. So the ni sound should really sound like knee, but with the jaw slightly dropped as I sing higher. Though for most people this exercise will be somewhat difficult at first, eventually it will be like their saving grace. At the time of writing this program, Elle, aka Bethany Manning, reminded me that this was the exercise that solidified her transition into her mix. This exercise is set at a faster tempo so that the chords do not have time to react to the expected tension as you ascend the scale. Instead, there is an even and consistent amount of effort applied throughout the scale. Refer to the DVD for the visual of this exercise. Listen to the demonstration.
Hear the even quality of the voice. Notice how the singer floats. There is no real dynamic change. Just an effortless, consistent tone. So, the voice sounds like one voice. Great job.
Now the female. Hear the even quality of the voice. Singer floats through the bridges without applying additional muscular tension. There's no real dynamic change, just effortless, consistent tone. So the voice sounds like one voice. Super. Now it's your turn, starting with the men.
Do not be too concerned if the voice isn't completely even yet.
Ladies, your turn. Don't worry if the voice isn't even yet. Allow the rapid tempo to free up your voice. Let time iron out the crinkles in your voice. No need to squeeze. Allow the end to do the work. Accept the feeling of a thinner chord. Drop the jaw slightly. On the high notes. If your throat feels tight, bend at the waist as you approach the high note. And stand up for the low note. Way to go. Pharyngeal exercise 8 sounds like this. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na.
This exercise begins to evenly distribute the tone quality throughout the 3 resonators, that is, the head, pharyngeal, and chest cavities. It is the closest to a normal singing quality. When doing this exercise, do not focus on being overly whiny, but allow the N to determine a more gentle sound. Think of this exercise as a slightly open version of the previous knee exercise. This exercise should allow for a slightly more open mouth position, so the tongue does the work, not the jaw, though in some cases, the jaw will be dropped loosely on each syllable. Listen to the demonstration. First the male.
Hear the beauty of the tone. This is the first time we've used a pharyngeal that has warmth and balance. The previous exercises locked in the pharyngeal resonator. And now we are hearing the rewards of the chest, pharynx, and head blend. Well done.
Now the female.
Na 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 na.
Hear the beauty
Na 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 na.
of the tone.
Na 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 na.
It's the first time
Na 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 na.
you've used pharyngeal
Na 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 na.
with warmth and balance.
Na 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 na.
Previous exercises
Na 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 na.
locked the pharyngeal.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Notice the sound goes slightly towards head on the top notes. Pretty. Now it's your turn, starting with the men.
Let the exercise do the work. Don't try to make anything happen. Just relax into the slower tempo. And begin to let the voice take shape. Allow the voice to be beautiful. And enjoy the process. Wonderful.
Ladies, now it's your turn. Let the exercise do the work. Don't try to make anything happen. Just relax into the slower tempo. Let the voice take shape. Allow the voice to be what it is. Enjoy the process. Nice and even. Steady as she goes. Great job. Pharyngeal exercise 9. This exercise sounds like this. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
The meow sound takes you through multiple resonance chambers. This exercise builds strength in the mix, personality in the voice, and aggressiveness in your approach to singing. This exercise also helps to connect the voice. This exercise does not need a piano, so it can be done throughout the day. It is also a phenomenal vocal therapy for a raspy voice. This exercise gives a natural forward quality to the voice. This exercise should be performed in a slightly reckless manner, like this. Meow! Try singing along with the exercise with our short demonstrations.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. Meow, meow. Meow, meow.
Meow, 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 meow. This completes the pharyngeal exercises. Now you are ready to move on to CD4, the edge exercises. Great work. Remember, you will want to periodically return to the CD to balance out the 3 resonators.